Lawrie, a lot of golfers, they go from the driving range out on the golf course and really struggle. They're great out here, but it turns to custard when they get out there. Why is that?
Bugs them, doesn't it? I mean, it's so common. I'm going to focus on two things that really are the most important things to understand. One is the technical still stuff you do, Andrew. That is when you're working on something technically, which is what a lot of golfers are doing. You know, maybe they've got a tip out of the magazine, or they've had a lesson with their pro at their club, and they're going out there and working on it, right? And then they find that they struggle out on the golf course because they're thinking so much. You know, it's the old how-to mind, rather than what we're ultimately after is the no mind, is to be able to just play. So the bottom line is this: you've got two basic styles of practice. You've got technical practice, where you're focusing on improving some aspect of your technique, and the other one is targeting practice, where you're actually not really thinking about your technique at all, but you're actually hitting to targets on the driving range. Golf on the golf course, Andrew, is a target game. It's not a technique game. So the trouble is that people spend a high proportion of their time on the driving range working on their technique and trying to hit golf shots to targets at the same time. It's an old proverb where it says the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? You're trying to do two things.
You're talking about me?
You're trying to do two things and you can only do one thing, you know, and that's the reality of it. So here's the thing, golf's a target game. So what you need to be doing on the driving range is moving your golf ball around to different targets. But here's the thing you want to do. You want to be practicing your pre-shot routine at the same time. So you're literally going behind each golf ball and going through your routine and then hitting the shot. And then you're going to put the ball down, and you could, you know, be hitting it from multiple areas, but then you're going to change clubs. You're not going to stay with the old favourite, which is what a lot of people, they'll go to the driving range, and with 3 clubs, say, and it's their favourite clubs. You're going to take your whole bag and you're going to move. If you've got 14 clubs in your bag, 13 of which you can make swings with, you're going to use them. You're going to hit some short shots, some long shots, and you're going to keep going through your routine, because the big thing here is you want to create a rock solid routine that you transfer to the golf course so that it starts to feel natural, what we call transfer, where you take what you've learned on a driving range and you take it to the course and use it. Now, the pros do it really well. Pros actually, when they're training, there's a very specific time when they're working on their technique. It's actually in a periodization model, actually over a whole year. There's a block of time where they're doing purely technique work.
Right.
And they're not really competing out on the golf course. They're doing it, you might call it their off season. But as they're moving towards tournament time, they're tapering off that. And now they're starting to work on their route. They're making sure their pre-shot routine is really solid and consistent, and they're working on maneuvering the ball around the golf course. That's the key. So anytime you're trying to focus on your technique and hit the targets, you're asking for big trouble.
So what I'm hearing is purposeful practice on here, split into 2 forms, technical and targetable.
Never mix it. Never mix it.
And then that can transfer out on the course where purposeful play.
Absolutely. Ultimately, it's about pre-shot routine and targeting, because that's what you're going to take out on the golf course. If you're just standing there and scraping a ball over and firing it and scraping a ball over and firing, and you're working on your backswing angle at the same time, recipe for disaster.